Hello, everyone. I'm Christopher Locke, the IBPA member liaison, and we're starting this webinar series called Get to Know Your IBPA Member Benefits because we want everyone to get a more in-depth look at the IBPA member benefits. And today we're covering a very awesome one, Edelweiss Plus by Above the Treeline. So if you want to see a more detailed explanation of this member benefit as it is right now, I'm going to put that in the chat and I'm going to hit send. So that's how it looks right now. That's all the different benefits you have. And today with us, we have Allison. She is the Publisher Success and Account Manager Above the Treeline, and she's been there for 2 years and says that she absolutely fell in love with the book industry right off the bat. Her job is to get publishers any information they need on Above the Treeline services and provide support to help publishers use their accounts the best they can. So, Allison, guess what? You're in charge now. So, take it away.
All right. Hi. Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah. Thanks, Christopher. And thanks so much for having me. Yeah, today I figured we could go over really just all of the services on Edelweiss because there are, oh, and there's my dog. So I was going to give you that warning, but she definitely may interrupt us. But
If she
yeah,
has
so
questions, she can ask questions too.
yeah, she's got a lot to say. So going over all of the services for publishers, there are a lot of different ways for publishers at all levels to use the Edelweiss platform. So I thought I'd give you just a general overview of everything. Jumping in. So yes, my name is Allison Langlois. I'm the Publisher Success and Account Manager here at Above the Treeline. And just like Christopher said, my job is mainly to get publishers any information they need on our services and provide support where needed to help publishers use their accounts to the best of their abilities. And that's Shan, my dog, who may interrupt us. Who is Above the Treeline? We're not actually a tree trimming or outdoor sports company, which is the calls that we tend to get after a storm when a tree's fallen down, but we're located in downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan. And we were founded in 2002 by the son of a longtime indie bookseller and grandson of a librarian. We're still independently owned, and there's just about 30 people on the staff. Our mission has always been helping the book industry work better and read more. Before we get started, I often find that users don't know the full spectrum of what Edelweiss does for the book industry, especially because as a publisher, you may interact with just a small part. We like to think it's a one-stop shop used by professional book people and influencers to market, sell, discover, and order new titles. There are different types of influencers using Edelweiss for different reasons, which may make it an efficient and effective way to generate buzz about your titles as well. It's used by 100% of all major publishers and covers 95% of US front list. We're also expanding internationally, so if you sell in the UK or anywhere internationally, feel free to reach out about options for that as well. It's also the only place where retailers can find the most complete information on each title, including marketing plans and key selling points. It's the primary way that independent bookstores place orders from publishers, including Barnes & Noble. It's also the primary way that sales reps can communicate with the indies. And hundreds of independent bookstores also use it as the foundation for inventory management, which was actually how we started doing analytics for bookstores. It's not only used by bookstores, so I always like to share this kind of user breakdown that gives you the percentages of booksellers, librarians, publishers, academics, media or agency professionals, and then reviewers and readers. So it's a good mix using the site as well. In terms of products, today we're going to go over a lot, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We're going to go over catalog services, Edelweiss 360, analytics, review copies, and title promotions. And I kind of chose these options because it's everything available to publishers. All right, so starting at the beginning, there are several ways as a publisher that your titles may exist on Edelweiss. So you can have your own publisher listing. A distributor could list your titles in their catalogs, or you could have a review copy only subscription. If you're an imprint of a larger publishing house or your titles are included in a distributor's catalog, you can still have your own listing as well. So it's possible to have both of those two first options, and we'll go over that too. If you're not really sure what your publishing house has, the first step is really searching under this publisher dropdown for your press name and seeing if you have a publisher listing. You will only come up here if you have your own publisher subscription and catalog listing on Edelweiss. If you partner with a distributor or you're an imprint of a larger publishing house, like we talked about, you can find your publisher name within a catalog here. This is an important starting point because it's good to know where to find your titles if you're distributed. So say you were distributed by consortium here, this is me clicking into their catalog, and then on the left-hand side, I'm just looking under publisher and imprint to find my name. This is a general workflow. So after you sign up for Edelweiss as a publisher, the next thing that you do is send us your data. Onyx is our preferred method of data ingest, but we also have a template if you don't use Onyx. And then after we have your data, you create your publisher page and catalogs. Then sales reps can use those catalogs to create markups and share with accounts. The account creates an order, and then the publisher handles fulfillment. So that's kind of just a general overview of using Edelweiss as a publisher. This is the little piece I mentioned, independent publisher listings. These are for publishers that are distributed. So if your title is included in a distributor's catalog, but you think that you'd like to have your own listing to do further marketing or more hands-on, we call these independent publisher listings or IPLs. The main benefits of having an independent publisher listing, it enables users to easily search for your publishing house. So that's that drop down at the beginning. You wouldn't be available there unless you had your own listing or an IPL. You can direct traffic from a publisher's website and marketing efforts, create unique catalogs with just your titles for specific seasons, audiences, or categories, add sales and ordering information for potential buyers to reference. That's a big piece. So if you're distributed, a lot of publishers will use these IPLs to actually just add more information to their metadata, and that'll populate across the site. So it can really enrich your data both in your distributors' catalogs and in your own IPL. It'll also, supplementing the metadata, you can create author tours and event grids, and it also allows you to access Edelweiss 360 and the ability to upgrade to premium. So we'll go over 360 and analytics now for a minute, but I did just want to note, adding on Edelweiss 360 and analytics is only an option if you already have a publisher listing. So you must have a publisher subscription in order to sign up for Edelweiss 360 or analytics. So 360, I'm going to do a brief overview. It provides basically everything you need to monitor engagement of your titles in catalogs in Edelweiss, and it also provides the tools to increase your reach. You can access Edelweiss 360 from a couple different areas. So you can see on the side there, you can click on the little Edelweiss 360 on the top left of your screen. You can take a look through the title view or a catalog view. If you have a catalog subscription, you have access to Edelweiss 360 automatically. So there's a free version, which allows you to monitor your title activity, so downloads, reviews, catalog views, and contact activity. If you upgrade to a premium version, it really turns into more of a prospecting tool. For the longest time, a lot of questions that we got from publishers was, how do we grow our contacts and not just come into Edelweiss with contacts that we already have, but how do we reach out to more? And Edelweiss 360 is kind of the easiest way to do that. It allows you to view users that are not known to you, who've downloaded, reviewed, or shelved your title and then message them directly. It allows you to access lists of recommended users who are likely good targets for your titles based on past activity with similar titles. And it allows you to connect with users in relevant communities or accounts, such as organizations like ABA or NPR. So it really has the potential for a large reach, and doing a lot of prospecting for new bookseller accounts, or new reviewers for your titles that are very relevant. There is a video on Edelweiss 360 and Analytics. I always like to share those because it's a lot of information. So I think Christopher is going to share those as well, with just the overview in case you want any more information about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. That brings me to analytics. So analytics, again, you have to have a catalog subscription in order to sign up for analytics. It's a powerful tool to market and sell your titles in the bookseller market. If you add on analytics, really what you're getting is a daily emailed report with your titles sales in the indie and Christian markets. It provides early indicators to sales health and traction. It allows you to view real-time sales of your titles across stores of interest to identify marketing and sales opportunities. It gives you a deep dive into how your titles are sold at specific stores so you can provide relevant order recommendations. And it also allows you to supercharge the sales process by monitoring stock of your titles and proactively recommending reorders to stores. It's a really great piece for sales reps to kind of do more, and have more information to make really great recommendations for their accounts. This kind of brings me to our promotional options. So I'll go over again what your promo code will be, what you can use it for, and it'll be everything on here except for review copies. They're kind of their own subscription as well. And we'll start with those.
Allison, can I actually ask two questions just about that? The people had some questions about like the sales reporting and all that.
Yes, yeah.
So one was, how does Amazon report sales to Edelweiss?
Yeah, that's a great question. We receive analytics from bookstores. So if we're not receiving Amazon analytics, it's really just letting you know how your titles are doing in the trade market, as well as the Christian market. Does that make sense? So we don't receive Amazon sales information or analytics.
Okay. And someone else asked to clarify. You said indie and Christian sales. Is that because it seemed like they weren't sure about that concept?
Yeah, I can share that video. We'll go over it in a little more detail, but it's really just in the two markets. So if your title is considered in the trade market or in the Christian trade market, it separates those out, because we had a lot of publishers that were requesting getting that information separated. So it's really based on the identification of your title and which markets that your title is shared in, if you share your title with the Christian trade market. So there's a lot of little pieces to it. But yes, it's basically how we get the analytics information is getting the with the analytics from the bookstores and then sharing that with you. So you can really look at things on a store level and seeing, how your titles are performing at that store. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we have another question. Apparently, this is kind of like the big area where there's questions, I guess. How does the analytics compare with NPD Decision Key, which was previously, I guess, called Nielsen?
Yeah, I've never heard that that one before, so I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, because I know, NPD Books, right? Like they also do like
analytics.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, if you don't know how they work, that's fine. I think they're trying to see, how Edelweiss
Differs.
the differences and why they would sign up with y'all versus them or something like that, I guess.
No, that makes total sense. I'm sorry, I'm not a little more familiar with the differences,
Okay.
but for sure we can look into it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a note. And then someone asked, does this include big bookstores like Barnes and Noble or only indie bookstores? I think you said it was both, like it's all of them, right?
Yeah, Barnes and Noble, they have a little bit of a different way that they handle their analytics, so it shows up a little bit differently. But yes, you can use the platform to sell to Barnes and Noble, and they do buy through Edelweiss.
Okay. Great. All right. I think those are the only questions right now. Well, Peter was asking about the source for the sales data, but I think it's just bookstores, like booksellers. I think that's basically what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Booksellers that are using the platform that are providing us with their analytics.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And those two concepts, both Edelweiss 360 and analytics, can kind of be like the more in-depth, like getting into the weeds. So truly feel free to reach out with your questions. And I highly recommend watching those videos that'll walk you through like in more detail. I really just wanted to kind of make sure you guys were aware of these options and that they are a possibility. So I like to think about them as Edelweiss 360 being a great prospecting tool. So if you're looking to do more marketing and you're looking to do more reaching out to publishers, or I'm sorry, reaching out to booksellers and reviewers that you don't already have their contact information, 360 is a great option. And I like to look at analytics as a really great sales tool. So it's great for sales reps. And then I think what a lot of publishers use the analytics for is really that daily email report that kind of provides you with early traction on how your titles are doing in the markets.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I'll be sharing, like Allison mentioned, those links in the email. I did just put in the chat that Edelweiss 360 intro video, but everyone in this webinar and who registered is going to get an email from me later this week, and it's going to have this link, and it's going to have a few others that Allison was nice enough to share.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I know I've already said this a million times, but truly, there's a lot of pieces to Edelweiss, so let us know if you have any questions. Yeah, and moving on to review copies. So review copies, they're probably one of the most popular and cost-effective ways to generate interest in your titles. 100% of top US publishers offer review copies on Edelweiss. Depending on your needs and what works best for operations, you can choose to share your review copies in a couple different formats on Edelweiss. So digital review copies, audio, print review copies. There's a bit of pricing information there. So it's a $99 annual fee, and then it's $50 per title that you're uploading as a review copy on Edelweiss. We are waiving that $99 fee for new signups in 2020, just to make the platform a bit more accessible at this time. And then there are discounts that apply. So if your titles are listed through a distributor, sometimes there's discounts. So feel free to reach out if you have any interest in review copies as well. We'll cover some kind of like frequently asked questions about review copies, but I wanted to note that you don't have to memorize everything. We provide training via this on-demand training and information page that you can access anytime, and it'll walk you through how to upload and manage your review copies on Edelweiss. We also developed a really handy checklist that kind of gives you lots of great pointers on how to get the most out of your review copies once they're up on the site. And I think that that's one of the documents I shared with Christopher as well. So we'll make sure you have that document about how to get the most out of your review copies. Digital review copies. So they're probably the most popular, and definitely since the pandemic, we've had record-breaking uploads and then also our download numbers. I think people are, getting used to using more of a digital platform for offering these review copies. A couple of notes about digital. once you upload your title, there's unlimited downloads, there's no additional fees. You can customize your access settings to meet your needs. And there's a couple different ways that you can manage requests. So you can manage requests for your review copies either through this little email link on the left-hand side, or when you're logged in Edelweiss, you can manage multiple requests at once. So there's a couple different ways. And then customizing messages, there's a lot of ways to customize your workflow on Edelweiss for review copies, but one thing that I always recommend to publishers is setting up custom approval messages. So these allow you to send a message like the one listed here with your response to help ensure reviews and communicate goals. You can use custom messages to encourage people to post reviews or nominate titles for Indie Next or library reads, really to convey any information that you're hoping to with your review copies.
Can I ask a quick question? I don't know if you're going to get to this, Allison.
Yeah.
We're asking about the DRCs. So one is about if it's certificate encrypted.
It is. So yeah, we apply privacy setting DRM when you upload your review copy. And so it can be either an EPUB or a PDF format that you're uploading, and then we supply the privacy DRM.
Awesome. And then one other question, I guess it was on a previous slide, but someone said, what did the little numbers by reviews on a book listing inside a publisher catalog mean? Is that the number of review copies requested? Must have been on a previous slide.
That's a great question. It's not the number of review copies requested. I'll take a look at that for you because it can be different depending on the publisher account. So I can even look into that and respond to that outside of depending.
And one other question regarding DRCs. So someone says most of the requests for DRCs are from people in the trade, like booksellers and librarians, but every now and then there'll be some bloggers or casual readers that don't seem to have an industry affiliation. How do you all vet the people that request these?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you add your review copy, you can make them available for immediate request, or you can make them require approval. I'm sorry, you can make them available for immediate download or require approval. So if you're requiring approval for your title, then you can actually approve or deny those profiles when they're requesting that they'd like a copy of your review copy. We have a good mix. I think most on the site are by request, but there are a good mix as well that are available for immediate download. So I think it goes back to kind of what you're hoping to do with the title. If you really want just like everybody to have access to it and get the, as many reviews as possible, then I would probably recommend doing available for immediate download. But if you're really hoping to kind of control who's having access to your title, then definitely I would make it available for request, and then you can approve and deny the requesters as you'd like.
And someone else was asking regarding these files, can you upload a revised copy of a publication that's already uploaded? Does it cost more to do that, or how does that work?
That's a great question, and it is a frequently asked question for review copies. You can upload a new version of a title anytime without being recharged for it. So you can, provide an updated review copy anytime. The only thing that you have to do is name with the same ISBN, and that'll just automatically replace the file for you.
That's helpful. Peter was just asking a follow-up question about approvals. I guess he's saying that sometimes people inflate their credentials, but I guess that's really kind of at that stage. It sounds like that's probably more than up to the publisher to, because I guess that's not something that you all at Above the Treeline can kind of monitor how people are filling out their forms. It's more like if they just fill out their form and you kind of trust that they're being honest about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's really like on the publisher level, like how you prefer and who you prefer to approve and how much time you want to put into kind of looking into those requests. again, I think it really depends on your goals. And if you have any sort of a feeling like that something seems very inflated, then I would probably recommend denying it if you're not hoping to have access to everybody. So yeah, there isn't a specific way. There's not a way for us to control exactly what information people are putting when they sign up for a free account on Edelweiss. But if they are a part of an organization, so like say you're a librarian at a library, it'll actually show you, I'm at Santa Cruz Library, or it'll actually show you that in the credentials. So I think looking into a user profile, and we've got a great help doc that walks you through kind of how to deeper dive into assessing profiles. And that's included in that checklist. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at that.
Okay, great. Yeah, and Peter follows up saying he loves the DRC service, thinks it's terrific. So, and their security is great. So just letting you know that you all are wonderful. Okay.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Peter. I'm a big fan of the DRCs as well. And there's a lot of, just like I talked about and what we'll talk about here too, there's a lot of things you can do to customize, and then also customize your workflow. And then also you receive the information for everybody who's downloaded your titles. So following up with them if they haven't left a review yet, all that stuff is on the checklist. And to me, I think that information is really important because that's how you get the most out of, getting that review copy up there and then making sure that you're communicating your goals for the title.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I think that's everything for right now. And the other ones I'll ask you at the end.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So this feature is quick send. I just wanted to go over this one as well because it's another one of my favorite features with review copies. It allows you to send a pre-approved link to someone who requests your review copy in another venue. I've had some publishers that use the quick send to email out an approved version of their DRC to like a full marketing contact list and say, hey, here's our review copy. And it gives you a direct link where they're already approved and given access. So it's just a great option as well to get your title out there. A quick note on audio review copies, the popularity has grown quite a bit in recent years. And essentially offering audio review copies on Edelweiss allows you to offer readers the option of downloading an audio file of your title. If you have a DRC subscription, you already have the ability to offer audio review copies on Edelweiss. There are a couple things to note. There are no DRM privacy settings applied to audio review copies. This is fairly standard for the industry because it's very similar to even just the music industry and how easy it is to strip privacy settings from audio files. We recommend uploading a zipped folder of MP3 titles, or MP3 titles for files for each title. Name the file with the same ISBN as the DRC to offer both versions. So you can see that William Morrow title at the bottom there, how you can see both the book and then also this little audio icon. That means it's available for both audio and digital review copy. Users can sort on the site by different types. So you can see, if you go to review copies in Edelweiss, you can see what's available for digital, print review copies, and then audio. I didn't touch too much on print, but it is definitely an option. If you have print review copies that you're hoping to offer on Edelweiss, really what that is it gives requesters the option of requesting a physical copy from you. I definitely think some different audiences prefer different versions of review copies. So if that's of interest, feel free to reach out about offering those print review copies as well. Once your review copies are in Edelweiss, users will see them not only in the review copies tab on your publisher listing, but they'll also show on user homepages in the widgets that they're able to customize. However, I think users love the weekly newsletter, which goes to about 70,000 subscribers and includes all the review copies and catalogs posted in Edelweiss from the past week. A text listing, so you can kind of see there, a text listing of your review copy will be included in this weekly newsletter for free. So essentially what that means is when you've added a new review copy to Edelweiss, this free text listing is always going to be listed in our weekly newsletter the following week. So that's just a free promotion that comes with uploading a review copy. It gives you a little bit of extra visibility. Sales reps often tell us that review copies directly generate sales. Booksellers love the ability to read a title before they choose to hand sell it to customers. It also gives them a chance to develop a staff review that can be included in pre-order email campaigns and can be a great way to build a relationship with a new bookseller by offering them a review copy of a title that may be of interest. So I always like to share that like sales reps are a piece of review copies also. Speaking of reviews, they can be sent with one click by the reviewer to the publisher, so directly shared with you. They can also be sent directly to other platforms such as Library Reads and IndieNext for nominations, or to a Goodreads profile or sharing on social media. So reviews don't just stay in Edelweiss, they have the ability to reach far and really make an impact. This kind of brings us to promotions, so that wraps up the review copy options. Promotions, in order to promote a title in Edelweiss, you need to be a user within the account that your title is listed. The promote button will show automatically for all users within the publisher account, and if you don't have the promote button, feel free to reach out to us or work with your account's Edelweiss administrator to make sure that you have this promote button. So after you click on the promote button, it will give you all of these different promotional options on Edelweiss. There's title banner inserts, weekly feature, weekly newsletter banner, monthly targeted newsletter banner, and review copies. So your promotion and the promo code shared can be used on all of these except for the review copies. Title banner inserts, they're basically banner ads located within Edelweiss, and they show up right above the title listing. One nice thing about inserts is that they'll last as long as the title is in Edelweiss, and you can update the artwork anytime at no additional charge. So if you wanted to switch out like a pre-publication banner to something else once it's published, you totally can, and there's no change in pricing. These are $200. A sales rep told me once that nothing says buy this title like having an insert above the title when they're looking at a catalog. They really catch the eye of Edelweiss users. And right, yeah, featured titles get a featured spot at the top of the review copies tab in Edelweiss for the week and at the top of the weekly newsletter that we touched on that goes out to around 70,000 subscribers. This is the same newsletter that you receive a free text listing of your review copies. And if you pay for a featured spot, it'll automatically include the first 500 words of your title summary and a cover image. Featured titles receive around 11 times more clicks on average, and they're a great way to draw some extra attention to a title. Each newsletter has 9 featured spots, and you can book as far in advance as you'd like. I love these because there's no artwork needed. You just have to work with, and you don't have to work with any designers. You just reserve your week. I did want to note, one commonly asked question that I get from publishers is if they should do a featured title in the same week that their title is listed as a free text listing in this newsletter. I often tell publishers to do it on a different week because then you're getting double exposure to the same crowd. And yes, different types of exposure, but then you'll be advertising your title in 2 separate weeks. You can also take out a banner ad in the weekly newsletter. You can see the open and click rates, Pricing is $1,000 for these. My favorite part about these banner ads is the ability to embed a live link. So this means you can direct traffic to your website or to a catalog or a collection of titles that you'd like to promote. So these can be really great too if you've got like a series of multiple titles that you're hoping to promote. That brings us to the monthly targeted newsletters. So in addition to that weekly newsletter, we also have monthly newsletters that go out to targeted audience. These newsletters highlight need-to-know information for each group. So as publishers, I definitely would recommend being signed up to receive the publisher newsletter if you don't already. It's really just information about updates on Edelweiss or any new services. They have great open rates, I think, because of that reason. Publishers or librarians or booksellers are really just hoping to get this new information. And then publishers do have the ability of scheduling a banner ad in these newsletters as well. So these banners also have the option of embedding a live link and can be a great way to market a title for a specific audience. So I see publishers do advertising in the library newsletter if they're really hoping to get nominations for library reads. Same thing if they've got a title that they really want to get more attention to booksellers, they'll market in the bookseller newsletter. So in conclusion, I know it's a lot of information. You have choices. As far as catalog services, you can have your own catalog subscription. You can list your titles through a distributor, or you can have your own IPL, which is if your titles are in a distributor's catalog, but you'd like to do more hands-on and have your own listing as well. If you have a catalog service and want to do further, Edelweiss 360 is great for prospecting and marketing, and analytics is a really great sales tool. Review copies, you can offer digital, print, or audio versions, and then promotions. We've got the title banner insert, featured titles, weekly newsletter banners, and monthly newsletter banners. I also wanted to share this resource page. We recently created Edelweiss for Small Publishers resources, and this just kind of walks you through on if Edelweiss is a great fit and also kind of how to get the most out of your subscription. So it's a great way to answer a lot of questions. And then there's my email and also the sales@abovethetreeline.com email. Truly feel free to reach out about any services. Yeah, and we'll take a look too to see what other questions we have in the chat box.
Yeah, we have a bunch. I'm actually just going to put in that Edelweiss Plus for resource, Edelweiss Plus for indie publishers, small publishers. I put that in the chat, but I'm also going to email that as well.
Awesome.
So let me grab some of these questions. Well, first I wanted to say, are you able to tell everyone what specifically the member benefit is for IBPA members?
Yes, yeah. For IBPA members, it's 15% off all catalog subscriptions. So if you're an IBPA member and you want to sign up for a catalog subscription, you receive 15% off. And yeah, and we base pricing kind of on front list and backlist counts, but there's a little, if you mention that you're an IBPA member, you do receive 15% off.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm one more time going to put that in the chat so everyone can see that you can click on that and go to the Edelweiss Plus description. Okay, Terry wanted to see if you could talk a little bit more about libraries and their connection with Edelweiss Plus.
Yeah, it's very similar to booksellers, and that libraries also can subscribe to us for analytics. So it's very similar that way. And then also a lot of librarians use the platform for review copies and leaving reviews and shelving titles that they're hoping to order.
Okay, and here's a question, I'll just read it out. How does Edelweiss strengthen small indie hybrid publishers to be competitive against the big five publishers and their imprints? For example, 80,000 plus reviewers is a huge pool of reviewers, but if they prioritize titles from major publishers, how does that help small companies, basically?
Yeah, totally. I think the way that I see it is really it allows you to kind of be on the same playing field so that there's no advantage being a larger publisher on Edelweiss than there is coming on as a smaller publisher. It's more just that they have, more of their own contacts that they're directing traffic to. So we don't provide any bias or anything as far as like what titles get more attention. It really provides you with kind of the same playing field to upload a review copy or have a publisher listing and use it in the same fashion that larger publishers. And I think that's kind of cool that even some of the smaller publishers are using it in the exact same way that large publishers are to create markups and share them with stores to create orders.
Thank you. And I have some questions here. Some people may need to email you directly because I want these questions to be things that are helpful for everyone. So just let me know if you think that's a question where it's like, oh, email Allison directly. This one is from Marty. My books are distributed by IPG, so I believe that my titles populate Edelweiss via IPG. And two questions. So I'm receiving print review copy requests for only 2 of my titles. And 2, the name of my publishing company does not even come up on search under publishers. So is that something that should be directly emailed to you, or is that something you can answer for everyone?
Yeah, so it's just a great case piece to talk about because that is the case for a lot of people that you're under a distributor. So your titles are listed in this case, in IPG's catalogs. And you won't be searchable as a publisher unless you have your own listing. So you have to have your own catalog subscription to be searchable. As far as the print review copies, I definitely think I would recommend using that checklist just to make sure that, once your titles are up, making sure that you do the most that you can to get them in front of as many people as possible. But I'm also happy, like if you have any, support issues or questions, always happy to answer those too.
Okay, and from Marty as well. So I can see one of my books for which I want to make review copies available on my screen in Edelweiss. How can I tell if the ARC downloads are available, and if they're not, how do they make that happen? This is a person distributed by IPG.
Yeah. So is the question how to make it available for a review copy?
Yeah, and I think they're not seeing
The promote button, maybe?
yeah, or like how to push it through, how to if it's not already, how to make it available.
Yeah. So if if you want to make your title available as a review copy and it's not already, you just have to have a review copy subscription. And then through there, you can upload the PDF or EPUB file that you're hoping to add as a review copy. I hope that answers the question, but if you're hoping to do a promotion and you don't have the promote button, that would be something we could look into for you. The only criteria is that you must be a user within that account. So if you're not a user within the IPG account, they would have to do the promotion for you, which is pretty common as well.
Okay, thank you. This one's from Melissa. You stated that booksellers can purchase books through Edelweiss. Does that assume that the publisher has to have a distributor? Can you get an order file, get to the hybrid publisher that is not set up with a distributor and or may not be available at Ingram or Ingram Spark?
Yeah. No, so actually the way it works, we're kind of just the tool that allows the bookseller to create the order with you. So say you've created your own catalogs with your titles. The next step is usually reaching out to booksellers with markups. So like the sales rep work or the sales team, or, I know how it is in some where you wear many hats in a publishing house and you're both the marketing person and the sales rep of the team. But really, once an order is created, so a bookseller decides to create an order with you, that can be exported and fulfilled however you like. So however you fulfill orders now for any bookseller is just how you would fulfill that.
Fantastic. And this one's about reviews. Are reviews shared automatically?
They're not. No, it's up to the reviewer whether they would like to share them and where they would like to share them.
And then this one just is pricing. It's the feature titles. They just wanted to quickly know how much feature titles cost.
Yeah, the featured titles are $300.
Awesome. And one last question. Do we need the free account to look at Edelweiss, or is it open without an account? You just got to go in and look at it.
Yeah, you can look at Edelweiss anytime. So that's good to know. Like if you're a publisher that creates a catalog and you want to share maybe the link to that catalog on your website or in a marketing campaign outside of Edelweiss, it's not like the person has to be an Edelweiss user in order to see that catalog. But if you do want to do anything more interactive, so requesting review copies, um, or taking a look at other publisher pages, then you would need to be a user on the site. But just in order to access any sort of a link, no, you don't need to be a user.
Awesome. That is all the questions that I have listed. I'm going to be sending a recording of this webinar to everyone. It's going to be sometime later this week. WebEx takes some time to kind of configure the whole thing. And in that email, I'll have some of the links that Allison was nice enough to share with me that are about like 360 and things like that. And also have that promo code for all the IBPA members. And Allison, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. This was very informative for me as well as all our members. And also just thanks for providing this as a member benefit.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys so much for having me, and I really hope it was helpful. I know that Edelweiss can be a lot of information. So again, truly, I think Christopher has some great links to share. And then, yeah, reach out if you've got any questions at all. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone. And thank you again, Allison. And enjoy. Thank you.
Bye.